Hello everyone, I'm Colin Canet, and today I'm back with a few more bench hacks, and you know I love doing these things, and if you enjoy watching them, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, click that little notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video, and let's get on with this first bench hack. A few people have asked me what I do with the used material that I get. And today I'm going to show you a few things. And the first thing that I do is make jigs and accessories. And these are called bench horses, or sometimes they're called hangers. And they can be used for a few things. You can put wood on them and they hang on the front of the bench. You can use them for planing. You can use them for sawing. There's all sorts of different things that you can do with them. But here's a wrinkle that you haven't seen, and that is I use on the back of them just some, you can see the double-sided tape there, the gray. This is just that anti-skid material, and you know what? It makes them much firmer for sticking on your bench than having nothing on there. When you have nothing, they can move around, and these really help them grab. So there's a little tip you may want to try. I actually use a hand plane quite a bit. I just don't show it on video. But because my bench has no holes in it, so I don't have any bench dogs that I can put on, I need to have some place that I can use as a stop. And this is a favorite place for me to plane in this position. And I use this. This is just a piece of scrap, piece of plywood, as you can see. And I attach it on here, and so that the wood will butt up to it. But I'm going to put it on this side so you can see it. And all I do is I use these screws with the flat heads. So I just use this stopper, and you can see there's a little bit of a cutaway because I like to have my bench just a little bit proud of the side. So I just put it in there, screw that in place, and you know what? It's a bench. It doesn't matter if there's a few holes in it. That's the purpose of it. And now, when I want to do some planing, it just butts right up to it. And I can't plane left-handed, but you get the idea. A quick, easy way, and you know what? You can move that anywhere around on your bench, whatever's comfortable for you. And for me, I just store this thing in the same box with my C-clamps, and then I always know where it is. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you know I've been using magnets in all sorts of different situations. The problem with magnets, when you've got a big flat steel area and another big flat steel area, very often what happens is the magnet can come off, like that time, it can come off with the tool. So instead of staying on your machine, for example, it will come off on your tool. But look, here's a quick way to solve that. Just get yourself some masking tape. You can use 1 or 2 layers. I like to use 2 with these really strong magnets because it works well. Just put a couple of layers of masking tape on there and watch this. That tool that magnet will never come off on that tool, so you'll always know that the magnet stays on your machine if that's what you're using it for. So quick little tip to make sure you always know where your magnets are. From time to time, I'm working with different size dowels, and sometimes I'm cutting them on the bandsaw, sometimes I'm cutting them on the sliding miter, and you need to be very careful when you're cutting dowels because a blade that's coming along this, it can make this dowel spin, and sometimes it can spin out of your hands, sometimes it can make it move. There's all sorts of problems that you can run into when you're cutting with dowels. But look, here's what I have, and all I've taken is a scrap piece of wood, and it was about 2 feet long originally, and I just ran a V-groove down it, and you can see what it looks like. But look, here's what I did. If you look carefully, you'll notice that there's actually 3 different sizes, and that's so that I can accommodate a variety of sizes of dowels. So for this bigger one, for example, I can put that in there. Then I can do, if I want, I can clamp it. It's very easy to clamp in there, and now I can hold that in my miter saw. It's not going to spin around, or in my bandsaw. It's nice and safe. I can cut it by hand. If I want to cut it by hand, I can even hold it there because there's much less chance of it spinning in there. But look at, if I've got a different size dowel, I just need to flip it around to get the right size, and now I've got another size that I can fit in there, and it's all in the same little adapter that you can make with scrap wood that you've got in your shop. I'm sure many of you have a wood vise, and nothing particular about this one, except that wood vices, when you put wood in them like this and you tighten them down, they work just fine. Now, what you don't know is that some wood vices are actually made out of cast iron, and when you tighten them too much, what happens is they can break. And where they're most susceptible is if, for example, you have wood in one side and you tighten it too much. For example, this one would snap right about there. And if you watch this, see how this end is moving? That's because when I tighten it, this can't move anymore because there's wood, but this, because the screw is in the center, it's still wanting to tighten down, and you can see how that's moving. That's called racking, and we want to try and avoid that so that we help avoid any breaking of our vise. And what we make is just these, and again, just some scrap wood, and all it is some scrap wood with a bolt through it. And the way you work this is you just put that through like that. It automatically finds its best position. And now when I tighten this, it's tightening here and here at the same time. So it helps to prevent racking, and it helps to prevent breakage. But you still need to be careful, because on a cast iron one, if you crank it too hard, you'll still snap that. Well, that concludes my video for today. So not only did we get to look at some neat little accessories that'll help you in your workshop, we get to use up some of that used wood you may have collected. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.